Velocities in music. Right now we're going to give you some feedback. We just saw Glassjaw live on Thursday night. This was a couple days ago for us, and it was a very cool experience. I know that Tom and I had a blast. It was a great show. And at the end of the show, Glassjaw gave out their new EP. Now, they just came out with Our Color Green a few months ago now, a couple months.
Yeah.
And we gave you guys our indication on that. We're hoping for a new Glassjaw album. Tom and I are big Glassjaw fans. We did a throwback review of Worship and Tribute way back in the day. Now, this EP that they gave away at the show is called the Coloring Book, or Coloring Book EP, and it has 6 tracks on it of new Glassjaw material that is really new, even to fans who have been following Glassjaw since 2002 when Worship and Tribute came out. Whereas our Color Green was all tracks that had been played live.
Yeah.
They've been out for a while. This is all brand new material, and let me just tell you, this shit rocks your face off. And while they lost a guitarist, you really don't feel it. These songs are just as intense, but in a different way. Their bass on these songs is so much more intense. Now, Tom, what's your take on the Coloring Book?
It definitely is a new direction for Glassjaw, and it's one that I at least embrace with open arms.
Right.
And it's definitely, I think it's good that it came out so soon after Our Color Green did, because the two represent two different sides of the band.
Absolutely.
Our Color Green is really the hardcore, heavy, spastic side of the band, I'd say. And this is so much more experimental in the songs on Coloring Book. In general,
and it's more focused, too.
Oh, so much more. It's not as screamy. There's, as you said, the bass. We talk all day about the bass on this album. It's great.
It will blow you away.
Yeah, they use a lot more like Latin beats. I feel like the rhythms here, rather than the drums just backing up the craziness in the guitars and bass, I feel like the drums has a more prominent role even, because just the way, especially for some reason, the kick drum sticks out to me.
Well, it's so well produced.
Oh yeah, and it's weird because Daryl's vocals, which have usually always been the focus of this band, are really low in the mix. But at the same time, you still get an idea of what he's doing. It's like he just, for once, he didn't want to sit way on top of everything. He wanted to be kind of that creepy guy in the background, and definitely with the fact that there's less screaming on here, you get the feeling that he does want to be more of an instrument almost. And for that reason, the vocals are so much more grounded in the instrumentality, because in the past, and I'll get, well, never mind, okay. In the past, I don't want to get ahead of myself. In the past, usually his vocals have been just kind of these spastic rants that sit on top of the instrumentals, and they work with them, but they're not really based on them. They're kind of random. Well, on this, I feel like they're so much more grounded in the instrumentals. They're so much more based on what the instrumentals are doing, because Daryl's vocals are so much more melodic. And the one thing that kind of proves that point is when we saw them the other day, Daryl tended to take a lot more artistic and creative license with the way he did the vocals on their older tracks. The stuff they did from Worship and Tribute, for example.
He changed all over the place.
He was all over the place with the rhythms and the actual melodies. Whereas this, and maybe it's just because it's new, but, I got the impression that it was because he needed to more. He stuck with how it is on the recording, a lot closer to it.
Absolutely. And I feel like what really impressed me about that, were Worship and Tribute, I could even see why, it kind of became a niche album for rock music fans. And a lot of people don't like it. Glassjaw never became really mainstream. It's just had this cult following over the past 8-9 years. And I can see why. Now this, on the other hand, on the Coloring Book, the sound that they're presenting, to me, is exactly what I want out of really crazy new rock music. I mean, this is the direction that I think rock music and hardcore in music is going, and I like that. And I mean, I if an album is to come out, I think this has a lot of potential to really catch people's eye.
Yeah.
And be one of those monumental experimental albums that changes music. I mean, it has the potential to be there. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm just saying be ready, because if it happens, it could be that good. I would highly recommend people go out and actively try and find this. I hope you can do it from a legit place and not just pirating, but what have you. If you can get your hands on this, please do it and check it out and tell us what you think.
I mean, the reason we got it is because they're handing it out for free at every tour stop, which is so nice.
Right.
It's so nice to see that after, fans waiting waiting 9 years for something.
Yes.
They're like, you know what? We know that we've been putting you off for a long time, so here's a present to you.
Disclaimer, they're giving this away for free if you go to the shows.
Yeah.
Take that what you will. Now, listen to it, come back and tell us what you guys think, because, like I said, if you like bass and you like rock music, listen to this, because this will kick your ass.
There is one more thing I wanted to say, and that's regarding the speculations we were making when we talked about Our Color Green on whether songs will be in a new LP if it comes out. Now that this is out, I don't think so. I think if we see an LP from Glassjaw, then I don't think it'll have anything from these 2 EPs, and the reason I say that is because these 2 represent such different styles, and I see now why they decided to release them as EPs and not one LP, because these tracks would not have gone good together.
Right.
The tracks from Our Color Green and the tracks from Coloring Book would not have meshed into a cohesive album listen. They needed to be together, and for that reason, I don't think that you could take a couple tracks from them and throw them on an album. I think if we do see something from them, it'll be all new, and I hope that's what happens.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. And if they do come out with a new one, I mean, the potential is there for it to just be incredible. But until then, we have 2 really diverse and interesting EPs to listen to that's full of really good rock music. So, I don't know.
What would you give it on a 10 scale?
On a 10 scale, quite honestly, Tom, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
I mean, I really
for an EP, this is one cohesive, good listen.
I love this EP. I have listened to it a number of times already. I want to keep listening to it. Literally, this is my obsession right now, so I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I want the album to be like a full cohesive listen of the Coloring Book EP. Please go check this out and tell us what you think. Thanks, guys. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV moving music critique forward.